So in addition to trying to kill the waters of the United States rule, there's other ways that Trump is attacking the EPA and its ability to protect Americans just this week. So some details from plans that have come out. The plan is to slash EPA's staff from its current level of 15,000 to 12,000. Okay, if you really are worried about clean air and clean water, killing off 3,000 jobs at the EPA seems like a weird way to do that, but it goes beyond that. The proposal also dictates cutting the agency's grants to states, including its air and water programs, by 30%, and eliminating 38 separate programs in their entirety. We're not going to go through all of them, but here are a few. Programs designed for zero funding now include grants to clean up brownfields, which are abandoned industrial sites, a national electronic manifest system for hazardous waste, which gives us statistics that can then be studied and helps in tracking environmental pollutants, environmental justice programs. They oppose those probably because of the inclusion of the word justice, climate change initiatives, obviously, and funding for Alaskan Native villages. The agency's Office of Research and Development could face a cut of up to 42%. The document eliminates funding altogether for the office's contribution to the U.S. Global Change Research Program, which was set up back in 1989 by George H.W. Bush during a very different time for the Republican Party. And that's what's already happened, okay, or what's planned to happen. We have some speculation about things coming out of the Trump administration that could come out very soon. Trump is apparently likely to sign an executive order next week that lifts a ban on new federal coal mining leases and starts the process of killing other Obama-era initiatives to combat global climate change. A White House official said, rescinding federal coal leasing moratorium is part of the executive order, which has lots of different components, including the Clean Power Plan. Now, we talk about a lot of ways that Donald Trump can really kneecap the various efforts that Obama put into place specifically to deal with climate change. Many of these little changes don't have much to do with climate change, but there is nothing more singularly damaging to the global climate than coal emissions. And the idea that we're going to double down on coal when we've made so much progress as a species in switching from coal to other forms of energy, which are cleaner. I'm not even talking there about geothermal and wave energy and solar and all of that. Even natural gas is far cleaner. Coal is in a league of its own, and that's what they're going to double down on. They'll call it clean or they'll call it whatever, but this is their attempt to squeeze every penny out of the ground, to make every profit possible, even if it means eliminating our future as a species.
Now, if you're a right-winger, I get it. You don't like facts, so you don't want research, you don't want development. So when Trump says, I'm going to cut the research and development budget at the EPA by 42%, you're like, yes, less facts. I love it. God help us if we have facts so we would actually make correct decisions. So I understand that part. But really, you don't want industrial waste sites next to you and your family to be cleaned up? Now let's look at priorities. He's going to add $54 billion to the defense budget. The defense budget already triples our second closest competitor. So we spend about 3 times as much as China does. So that's not a big enough lead. We spend 36% of the entire military budget of the world. But that's not a big enough lead. He has to add $54 billion on top. But the EPA, to clean up industrial waste next to you, $8 billion is too much. So he's going to cut a quarter of the money going to the EPA in order to save, what, $2 billion so that he could add $54 billion to defense spending. Now, is it because that defense spending is going to make us safer? No, it allows him to demagogue and so say, I alone can protect you. Yeah. And the second thing that it does is it gives money to the defense contractors who donate to Republican politicians. And if your kid's playing near an industrial waste site, too bad. You didn't give me a campaign donation, and neither did your kid. So I'm going to cut the hell out of the EPA that protects you, and I'm going to give giant, unbelievable contracts to the defense contractors who support me. And it's all about the priorities. So when they say they don't have money for the EPA, that is the biggest lie you have ever heard. They have plenty of money, just a question of where they put it. Okay, now we are massively out of time. All right, second hour coming up. First of all, everybody check out youtube.com/thinktank. John and Hannah do a wonderful program there. And then in the next hour, they're now targeting specific immigrants, one by one. And if you make political statements against the Trump team, and you're undocumented, they will literally remove you from the country. And when I said they will target their political opponents, and I said it from day one, people were like, no, Cenk, that's too speculative. No, political opponents, they're not going to do that. They have already begun. Support independent media and get the whole Young Turks 2-hour show and other network shows all ad-free. tytnetwork.com/join. Come join us today.